Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm your Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes,
In the Wrestling Ham.
that's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I am Mike Sorg, muting the extra things that we're not using here in the office in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Here with you, just got everything back together, dusting any dust off of it. Some of the equipment we're using tonight has literally survived a potential tornado. So we'll see how it goes. But with me is from the iPhoneography podcast, which I stumbled on a clip or something. I was watching some of it the other day, and I'm just going to sit here for a couple minutes for this conversation. Dave Potter is with me.
I'm shocked. I don't know where that. I'm glad it was out there. I'm not sure where it came
Were
from.
you on the YouTube or the Facebook or something? Like I was flipping through some things. I think very tiredly on our Airbnb because I had the YouTube on the TV, because of course, and I was like, there's Dave Potter. That's not my show. Let's watch and see what they talk about for a little bit. It wasn't directly like like photos or anything like that. Maybe I dreamt this. Honestly, I had some weird nights.
Could have happened.
There was a lot of drinking. Okay, we had to take care of the video crew, and we let them kind of really cut loose that last night after we successfully got through things. But did
you let intern John figure out what the drinks were?
No. So we had a discussion about the drinks actually, because John was telling me about the fascination with our refrigerator here at the studio for Sorgatron Media. But of course, this was at the Airbnb, so there was a whole different configuration at that refrigerator, mostly alcoholic. I gotta. We'll get into that in a moment. But anyways, so we'll get into that and everything. We had a little bit of a excursion this weekend. Probably the biggest production that we've done for scale and everything as far as a Sidekick only team, a Sidekick media only team, I suppose. But anyways, before we get into that, Dave, I want you to. I didn't even get the soundboard booted up, so my apologies to Kid Mental on that. But let's get to your awesome thing of the week. We'll just hum a tune, I guess, for in the meantime.
Awesome thing of the week.
Oh yeah, that wasn't plugged in. That iPad's dead. Dave, partner. What's your awesome thing?
Well, the awesome thing is Sesame Street has been saved.
Yes, I didn't know it was in trouble.
Oh yeah. Mainly because HBO cut their 10-year deal with it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So they shorted the deal.
Well, no, the deal was due to expire. So they're like, yeah, we don't want to renew, which you can see the problems that Time Warner has. And if your favorite product is on a Time Warner Discovery Max, soon to be HBO Max, that may change its name again in the next year or so, who knows?
Yeah.
It's, you're a little concerned about it.
Yeah. You're like, where is my thing going to be, right? So at this point.
So the deal they had with HBO, which started in 2015, was HBO would show it, and then a couple months later it would be on PBS.
Yeah.
The new Netflix deal is it'll be on the same day available.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So
okay.
the Netflix, PBS, and PBS Kids app.
Nice.
So you'll be able to get the PBS Kids app and see all the Sesame Street.
Okay.
And it's a multi-year deal. And you figure with the ability of Netflix to put stuff out there and see what's going on, that should really help out, because even though they only get 4% of the funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting from the federal government, that's going away probably.
Well, and I think that was also a thing with it. Like HBO, basically HBO helped the production costs with the deal that they did have, which supplemented so PBS didn't have to foot the bill, because it's a big property. It's it's an ongoing production. It things get more expensive. I don't know if the Children's Television Workshop is, and this is not Jim Henson. This is independent. From Jim Henson Disney situation. So it is a Jim Henson person product, but they did, my understanding is they created a different company from that. So, check, internet will check me if I clip this.
No, you're absolutely correct. When they sold the Muppets to Disney, they kept the education, basically Sesame Street and everything related to that as a separate thing. They didn't want that to go to Disney, where it would be. No. They were like, okay, this is.
Let PBS have it, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Sesame Workshop is the name of the nonprofit that owns it.
Okay. Well, was it? Did they change it? They used to be Children's Television Workshop, I thought.
Yeah, I think. I don't know the whole detail without looking into it.
Well, yeah, we can all Wikipedia later. So, but that's a little nugget for you guys to do some homework out there, I suppose. But that's our knowledge base at least. So, but anyways, so it was originally. I'm sorry, just a quick search. Originally, it was Children's Television Workshop, but it has turned into Sesame Workshop. So I think they had a name change. So probably around the HBO deal, honestly, would make sense, I suppose. So and they only changed it once, as opposed to HBO Max, HBO Max. Now go. So, by the way, John Oliver has a great deal on this. And by the way, friend of the show, Jim Lokay, made it on to John Oliver this week, talking about, I think, the HBO Go situation. So, putting that out there. Nice little, between that and the Erie Seawolves announcement on that show. So, are you aware of this? I'm sorry, we're sidebarring here a bit. Are you aware of this?
No, I did not. I know he was looking to have someone say, we're going to rename our team.
Yeah. So the deal is they put it out, and they did a feature about how wild minor league baseball teams are on last week's show. And then this week they announced who won. And they said, basically, if you write us in at this email, we will pick one of you, and then we will give you a full rebrand. You have no input on this, and you must do as we say. But it would be the full resources of the John Oliver show at HBO, and what they have access to. So there's including theme nights, new theme, new name, the whole deal. They picked the Erie Seawolves. There were 40 some teams that responded to this email.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just like, we had a spreadsheet, to figure this out and everything. So, and they talked about some of the self-deprecating comments that were in a lot of them, including the Erie sea wolves are nowhere near the sea. So, but, and as our friend Bobby Cherry said, that this is not necessarily a permanent situation, whatever they do end up with. So this is potentially just a promotional kind of theme night or something like that. So, but anyways, very cool. Like there was just a lot of crazy. Now Jim Lokay is now on Fox 5 in the DC market. Washington D.C. market, but he has like basically his own show going there. Was like good for him. He's got like a 10:30 slot, on one of the bigger markets in Washington D.C. of all places. Which means some people you voted for probably watch him. At least flip through the channel. You know what I mean, and catch him. So good for him for that kind of thing. So he's a great personality. I mean, come on, God. Even when he was coaching softball for us. So anyways, no, that's cool. Good to see. I loved seeing that. Good to see Netflix doing that. I'm wondering if this is an international deal. Will this make it easier for people to internationally experience Sesame Street? As one of our most watched videos on YouTube is talking about the different big birds around the world. Yes, there's that, but this is still a Sesame Street that now will be more accessible if they do a deal like WWE. I don't know if that's America only, but
they did say select past episodes will be available on Netflix worldwide.
Yes. No, there you go. Worldwide. There you go. So even if it's not purely localized, probably wherever they get the same Sesame Street, I would imagine. Any of the English-speaking Sesame Streets areas will probably get this. So obviously it's been adapted for other cultures and languages, so locally. So that's good. Awesome. Good to hear. Good news. That's truly awesome stuff there.
Yeah.
What's that?
I say good, happy news that doesn't happen that often.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a little bit behind the scenes, and you can AMA me on this. We did the Formula SAE live stream a couple weeks ago. We talked about how full of dirt we were for the Baja live stream. Let's look at what happened this weekend. It was a lot cleaner. There wasn't as much dust to contend with. There was, however, a lot of weather we had to deal with. Oh no, this is just one of the sessions or something like that. So, no, we had a good time with it. We got it going, and, a little rough start because, unfortunately, the problem was we were in a tent in the middle of MIS, Michigan International Speedway, NASCAR kind of thing. One of the nights when I woke up at inexplicably at like 2:30 in the morning, I put on the YouTube for a little bit and ended up just watching highlights from a NASCAR race because I've literally never watched NASCAR from the track I've been working for since 2017, and it's just really wild to kind of see that. Like, I know we go out on the track and do this and this, and Katie's up in the flag area doing the panoramic photo and things like that, as we've talked about in the past. But anyways, so we're up in a tent out there near like that big tower in the middle, like the big score tower in the middle, right? And it's like a convenience store out there for people that are out there with their campers. I think it looks like what the deal is. And they gave us a tent, and it was like, okay, well, it's a pretty sturdy tent. We should be pretty good here, right? We had to set up like 2 days early because of logistical reasons, right? It's like, okay, we got this. We're gonna tarp it down. We're gonna tie it down. We should be pretty okay. Here we find out. As we're going into the first day of the stream, I was like, okay, we're good. And we look, I was like, oh, there's a severe thunderstorm watch. There's a warning. Oh, there's a tornado watch. Oh, there's definitely a tornado warning north of us. We're 30 minutes south of the field where our equipment is sitting. Now, I was attempting to do a way to make a little bit of a security camera situation. So I took a Wise Cam, hooked it up to a Jackery battery, but I also had to just plug in the Starlink so we had internet on this thing, right? I mean, I should have just put it on the staff And now I think about it, we'll do that in the future. It is fine, but it would only last until like 8 or 9 o'clock every night. But at least that's like, if anybody was, any students were coming by and messing with it, I'm not worried about anybody getting on the field. Their security is pretty tight up there. So, but unfortunately, a lot of the storms were happening around like 11, 12, 1 o'clock. And I stayed up the one night because I'm just like, I just want to see how bad the storm is going to be. So I have an idea what I'm going to run into in the morning. And we did have issues because of the storm. One of my bins was upturned and strewn across the middle of the field, for instance. Thankfully, nothing looked like it was. I still have to go through the bin. A lot of things were soggy. There was a lot of tape and cords and things like that. I don't think that. Thankfully, we didn't have like a lot of tech in there that I think got destroyed. There was at least one battery charger that the one guy picked up. It's like, you might want to just throw this away. I'm like, okay, we're going to do that kind of situation because it was just in the storm all night. So there was that. We did have some issues with the stream that turned out to be bad cords, which we are presuming were perhaps loosened and banging around perhaps in the wind, is what we kind of narrowed down to. So we had a little bit of trouble with that, trying to sort that out during the first the first few hours of it. A lot of A/B testing, plus getting everything going and everything like that. So. But the crew was tremendous. I can throw a little bit up here while we're talking about it. This is in the endurance event, actually. And you can see, we had a few cameras. This is actually, this camera is from our tent where it's on. That's basically the start line. You can see the car kind of setting up on the left there. That'll probably take off in a moment. So that gives you kind of an idea. And then
that wind looked like it was really.
Oh, it was so bad. The tent was picking up. It was concreted down, but the middle poles kept picking up off the ground, and to the point where the poles like shook loose and fell over. So it was pretty tough. The first day was really hot. The second day was really cold. So everybody got to experience both sides of the coin as far as this goes. This is the outer track here. This is the outer a stretch of the track, and then here's on the infield here. They do the infield situation, so they have a little bit more to it. This is the IC event, internal combustion. There'll be an EV event that'll be mostly on that outside track. So we was pretty good. We assigned the video guys and said, hey, you're gonna find a car, track it across. That one's got a cone on it. Yep, it's got a cone. And then you're gonna go take it as far as you can, and then you're going to go back. And then we just kind of like had a pattern for that instead of directly like kind of calling the shots. We were just kind of going with, okay, this is a good shot. This is a good shot. Okay, the wireless is working here. We're using, and you see there's a little bit some of the pullback sometimes happens before we switch, but it's not the worst thing. So we're using the Hollyland Cosmos, the C1 and the C2s. We still had a little bit issue. I think we had things like at the end of some things, maybe we're getting some interference. I'm going to do a lot of research on it. This is actually, everything's working really, really well at this point. We had graphics. We interface with DES on Dynamic Day to get our top 10s from their servers, from the results page, which is like your results.fsaeonline.com, as I'm sure you're familiar with, Dave. But yeah, you get that idea. Oh, and there's a guy just leisurely crossing the track. There you go. And we had the guys inside. But it was very cool because we also got throughout the day, we did get the sponsors would come in that helped us. And this is like a part of there's a great shot on the inside track here with the fans going by and everything. So on the one end, so it's very, very cool. But yeah, and then I'll show you a little bit the day before here in a moment, where there's like 3 separate events going on. So this is one event. This is the endurance. They go out and do about 10 laps. After 5 laps, they do a driver's change, and then they only put maybe 5, 6, 7 cars out at the time. There was 83 cars were set to go on the list that day that were cleared of the I believe 13 maybe that were registered for the event. It's very good numbers. That's very good. I mean, they get out there, they don't pass check. We did an interview with a team that these are like $30,000 to build these cars. Typically, like a lot of money has to for sponsorships and schools support. There was this community college from Canada, and they're like, yeah, we were like building it with parts we were finding on the side of the road. So, and then they got the design review and they're like, yeah, we found like people with rusted parts and didn't understand it. And I'm just like, I bet it was that team. So, but there's only 8 of them. There's usually like 30 people on a team.
Yeah, normally you get
So,
multi-year, so you get some of the seniors, you get some of the
yeah.
juniors, all the way down to freshmen that are like, okay, I don't know much, but I know welding.
Exactly.
Or I know this. So it's something they can go and work on that way.
Yes.
The other thing is until you're actually there at a track, you don't realize how big that thing is.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And we did, at least we had last year, so we had an idea what we do. Okay, we kind of did this last year, last year. Here we're actually talking to somebody from Tesla at this point. So that's, so that gives you an idea. We had people from Cummins and Honda. What else was there? OnShape was on there. I just pulled all these a little bit ago for them. So it was really cool. It was a really cool experience to be able to do that and pull that off. And, we had a little bit of glitchy issues. But, I mean, it's wireless technology. Oh, this is the other thing. Let me see if I can find it here. So the Brazilians were back. Now, we weren't as integrated with them as last year. We kind of did half and half for equipment and kind of sorted things out and made it work as best we could. This year, however, let me see if this uploaded, because I was just uploaded it for my friends over at SAE to use here a little bit ago. But they were like, hey, we got this. And we also kicked them the stream. Actually, that first link there, Dave, goes to it, should go to it. So they have FSALive.com, and they pulled our feed in, and we're doing their own stuff on top of it because they have somebody in Brazil doing commentary typically. So if you see this in the lower corner, they're in their own studio. And this is all volunteer.
Okay, so they're not on site then.
No,
they're back in Brazil.
There's a couple of them here. There's people that were there, and they set up on a table next to us, and we have like, hey, here's the feed. I didn't figure out how to do it without audio. I need more hardware basically to do it. We just weren't slated for it. So yeah, they pulled this stuff in, and they were putting clocks. Like they put this thing with the weather and everything in Brooklyn, Michigan. Which is wild because they're in freaking Brazil. They're on a different continent, guys.
Yeah, they're in fall right now.
Yeah, exactly. So
they're an hour ahead.
Yeah. So it was like so they just wrapped their thing around it. We're doing our thing, and now, on top of whatever we did, like they still had 1,000 views from their deal. We were, we have thousands of views on ours, I know, throughout the day. I don't know what the numbers have ended up. But yeah, what is this? This is Dynamic Day, I think. So I don't know. I can't read. This is Endurance actually that they're on. But that gives you an idea. It's really cool that we did have that. Oh, this is a shot. Our Brazilian friends, they went with a wireless, and they were in the pits. Getting some shots here towards the end. There's a great shot that he's got. You see the camera's a little different. I think it's a DSLR that he was using. So you get the kind of idea there as they're zooming around that corner. I always love that when I'm doing the highlights, is getting them zooming, coming at the start line. So this is basically at the start line here. And then we're actually, our tent is to the left of this position. And I think they do get a little bit of, see if I can find it here. So they had, here you go. They had an in-car cam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this was a lot of fun. So I was just like, okay, guys, listen to me. And I'm like following. And then we have like a little bit of blind spots, like exactly right here on the track. And you'll see I'll probably pick it up here from somebody who has a camera on the other side. And then, yeah, you get a good idea of that. Sorry, this is going to be a really video thing. So it's over the driver's helmet there. He was getting passed a lot, unfortunately. So, and we were cutting back and forth from his, this camera to us, so you kind of get a little bit of a context of everything. But it's really, really cool to get this kind of thing.
The one thing that you really pick up to hear is how much the driver's head is bouncing around.
Oh yeah, actually one of my camera people was talking about that. I'm like, yeah, or no, not camera people. It was one of the SAE media people that was there visiting. And he was like, yeah, well, they got that neck wrap around, and this is why they're really stringent. Here's you going through that. There's our tent on the right, you can see. So, and actually here they're actually going into the pit for the driver change, so you can see that whole process that they have here. So that's really cool, right? So
yeah, and that's really good quality for, you figure the camera can't be that big because it's right behind the driver's head. And yeah, you can understand why when people people say when you hear like, oh, race car drivers have to be athletes, and you're thinking, I can drive and it's no big, I can drive here to here, it's 100 miles, no big deal. Not like that, you aren't.
Yeah. And
the amount of neck muscles for, let's say, a professional driver.
Or how long, like I think about those, we talked about those 4-hour Baja ones where you have to go for 2 hours straight and just getting your ass kicked, as you're going is just so absolutely insane, right? And
luckily they're all college students.
Yeah, they're all college students. They don't know any better. They can take that. They can take that with their bodies. By the way, this is one of our friends from Brazil. We got to have him on the show. Honestly, this is the setup for the driver cam, and he showed me the VR headset. Like he had me put it on. I was like, oh, that's freaking sweet. And so it's that view and everything, right? And I think I thought they were using a DJI, but I think that is actually that's one of the Holyland ones that they were using. Because I think they swapped it and then took it to do the on cameras ones. So it was a Holyland Pyro I think they were using because that's what they had last year. And I actually bought one right after I used it with them to kind of start my journey into wireless. Now I have like four wireless receivers or transmitters, by the way, now, Dave, of various types. I have like I have the two versions of the Cosmo and I have the Pyro. So I was like, I'm really all in on wireless technology now because of all this. So and actually, here's a little bit. Speaking of intern John, so there's a little bit of our side. We see commentary on the left. That's Jared, one of our friends from the NWA Exodus crew that was helping out behind the table. John sitting in for a moment because I probably went off to the bathroom or do an errand or something. So helping push some buttons over there. So that gives you an idea of what we were kind of dealing with there. So we were set up in a tent. So we were kind of exposed to the elements, unfortunately, which is not what you want. And then Katie took this tremendous picture of our friend Chad the Shadow, the Wrestling Mayhem show, out on the track, getting some shots one of those days. So that was very, very cool. And you kind of see a little bit of our setup there. We had the Panasonics, the smaller Panasonics, the X2000s. I love the zoom on them, and they're a smaller sensor for sure. And I got a great team picture here for you guys too. I think this is maybe at the end of day one or something, or at the beginning. But yeah, generally it was like it was really cool. Don't mind the mess on the tables. We were just trying to get by. So, but
you're in the middle. You're in the middle of doing work. You're not in the middle of cleaning up. If you see someone with a very clean, pretty setup,
they don't work enough.
They spend a lot of time doing that instead of doing the work.
They don't work enough. That's what it is. If your stuff is clean, you don't work enough, or you got too much time between the work. My stuff's still in a pile over here from this weekend. Okay, and I got to figure out when he's to come to Cleveland with me Friday. I don't know when I'm doing that right now. There's brother. I've been nonstop, and we did take some time on the drive home, but that might be for Katie when she comes back because there's a lot of cool places that I think she wanted to talk about. But in the meantime, I will share this little bit from the drive home because we did get to Katie did get to. Let me let this load for a second. Did get to see Battle Cat in Grand Rapids, Ohio.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was about a year ago. I went out down there, and I'm like, Kitty, we're going to Grand Rapids. Like, first, you're gonna love this town, first of all, and we found a lot of interesting shops, and ended up in Bowling Green, Ohio, to get coffee, and then lost a lot more time because the coffee shop happened to be a giant bookstore, and then there was an old used game place across the street that also had a free arcade in it, and we're like, I can't start playing games because we will never get home. I still got home at 8:00. We checked out at 11. We're 4.5 hours from home.
I'm about to say, that's only like a 4 to 5 hour drive.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, depending on how you drive. But
yeah, exactly. So, but no, it was good. A lot of logistics. I mean, we got a lot of notes. Let's put it that way. But a lot of notes from us, a lot of notes from SAE. It's the first time we've done this with our team and everything, and plus the other ones the couple weeks before. So there's a lot of like, hey, there's going to be some growing pains, for these kinds of things. But I think the execution, we did pretty well with it. We had some notes from the first day. We applied to the second day. We had a lot of people. We had a lot of eyeballs on this. So we regularly we were between in the 300s to I saw us break 700 concurrent viewers sometime during Endurance. So the numbers are very, very good. I'm very, very happy with how things went there. And I'm still incredibly happy with, headaches aside from doing two at the same time. I'm very happy with how the aero design stuff went, how the Baja stuff went. So we're through most of it. Most of the tough stuff is through. We're going to go back in a month's time back to the Speedway to do Formula EV, which will be a slightly different configuration for endurance. But otherwise, like we have it down, and we're only going to tighten the screws on it at this point. So that's where the discussions are, and that's where we're at. So and we're doing Baja is not going to be streamed, just the award ceremony like we usually do, and then we're going to be actually returning to auto drive for the first time in a couple years, and going to be doing something a little different for that. I'm very excited. I have some new collaborators on it, let's just say, and maybe I can talk about that afterwards. No streaming, not even an award ceremony on this. They're not even doing an award ceremony this year. But I understand what the way scoring is. So anyways, Formula SAE is the IC competition. If you want to go to our friends at fsaelive.com, they'll have links over there, or I guess FSAE Live on their YouTube. If you go to SAE University Programs, that's a pure feed from us. Of course, the other one is in Portuguese in Brazil. So, yeah. But yeah. So that gives you an idea of what we worked on this weekend. And again, you saw our team. We had 8 of us. 6 were dedicated to the live stream, 4 video operators, 2 in the 10, including me. And then we had Katie and Scotty doing the photos and highlights like we typically do. Basically Scotty is me. Going out there on the track and doing that kind of stuff, what I've been doing for years and years. I'm a little sad to not be out on the track and get that experience since I'm really head down. But I'm appreciating what we're able to kind of pull off here. It is work, but I do enjoy the events that we do, and I enjoy kind of taking in the experience of the events and the largeness of them, typically. So I am appreciating we didn't get streaming for the second Baja, because I probably need a breather anyways. And I get to walk around in the dirt for a couple of days on the track, and which is just, next to wrestling, it's my favorite thing. Next to working on wrestling, this Baja is absolutely my favorite thing. So I'm very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to be working with these things, of course. So very, 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 very cool. Anyways,
and I did listen to the live stream of the first day for a while, and it felt very practice round NASCAR. If you ever listen to when they have the NASCAR and they show the practice rounds,
okay,
and the announcers, you can see this is going this way, this is going this. The 2 announcers, they were doing a great job.
Excellent.
Yeah, and you could tell they were having fun. They were enjoying it. Even when the one car kind of spun out and went like right in front of a crowd of people.
Yeah, there was definitely a close call, and that is still up there. We but we're not getting that. But yeah, they were good. They were good. They were professional. They were fun. They did take notes from the first day. It's the 2 that do the news program here in the studio, and they're supposed to be very kind of down to earth and on the level of the kids is what we do. They're not going to be on the next one because of logistics. But they did really for it. I mean, and there weren't people that know. I think the only detraction is they're not people that know the technical side of things and the educational side of things. Scott works on. He works on the program side of it, so he knows a bit about what goes into organizing the event from the SAE side. The other one is very not involved in that, so he's kind of taking it with new eyes, which I think was a really good perspective. But I do wish we did have the opportunity. There was a request. We're trying to see if we could get somebody, and maybe we will more for the next one as we have our discussions later this week about what we like and don't like, about what we did execute, which you're going to have with everything. I have some ideas about how to make it better because I got some commentary from hey, something educational. I was like, we could do more educational, let's what does that look like? What do you want? Yeah. What are the points you want to hit? Who's going to sit there for 8 hours and do this? Literally the first day is 8 hours. So
even if it's not the whole 8 hours, you still need the volunteers coming in.
Absolutely.
If you want the engineers who are from the car companies and from the different companies, well, you need find an engineer who is going to volunteer and come in and talk about it. And is someone who not only knows the technology but can talk
Absolutely.
on a level that most people can understand.
As you saw on the first one, we had a guy from Rio Tinto who did actually kind of know
Mm-hmm.
what he was doing, because I can't remember if he did Baja but they hire people from Baja and they're very excited about them. So he's able to speak to that. So I think there was a lot of that conversation was happening during the 4 hours of the Baja endurance that we did out in Arizona. And I think in this, again, also getting people interested. Hey, can you come out and sit in this tent with us in the middle of the field during the race? Is a hard ask for a lot of people until they see what it is. And I think that's one thing you have to do. And I think that's one thing we've been very successful with some of the local content we do for pro wrestling. Hey, let's create something people want to be a part of. Okay. Right. And we've created something, and hopefully an atmosphere and a product that people want to be a part of, which means hopefully the sponsors want to be a part of. Hey, they put money into it because it was part of their package or whatever, however they configure it. I'm not on that side, but Ford actually does sponsor the endurance race as a whole. And hey, I'm not sure that we got anybody from Ford, and maybe they didn't know, maybe they couldn't connect, maybe the schedule didn't work out, so you could be anything. Yeah. But now hopefully they're looking at this and somebody at Ford is saying, why don't we have somebody on this? You know what I mean? Like, hey, look at these numbers. Like, let's talk to these people. It's an opportunity there. You got at any time 700 people looking at you from God knows where. Definitely a lot of Brazil. A lot of Brazil, well, I can tell you that.
Well, and not only just 700 people, but 700 people interested
in this.
And there may be a good amount of the students who couldn't make it. Or the people
schools,
who are interested
the parents,
in formula or engineering. Exactly.
A lot of I had this last year. This comment that somebody was watching last year's feed of this event. I keep home shows because that's what we do behind the scenes. But it was somebody who was in it, volunteered for a while, and is now retired, got to experience the event. So now you're bringing in, because there's a volunteer, members of SAE, former people that were on these competitions. So you have this membership and this community of people that have been involved in this thing that's literally changed their lives and helped them get a job in the industry, in the automotive industry, in the aero design industry. Boeing is there, man. Lockheed Martin is at the other events. SpaceX is there. So it's not just Ford and Chevy, and all these guys in between that are there. The Bosches, the trying to think of Hoosier Tire is there. MathWorks, our friends at MathWorks. So things like that. So yeah, it is it's very cool with that. I love one of my video operators are just he's just like, I don't understand why anybody would watch this. Oh, so he's just standing at a camera all day. So I think he's just like, why would somebody just watch this? What's going on here? And then I love the comment came out later. It was like, how many people watch NASCAR, man? And then plus there's more to it. So it was kind of hard to convey that to some of my staff, why this was so important sometimes, at least on the experiential side. But I think the numbers prove that this is real and big, and across the board for everything that we did this year. And I'm very happy with. I cannot speak enough to the crews we've had through all 4 events that we've done this year. In live streaming and the execution. Yes, there are some bumps in the road and things happen and a lot of things out of our control. We're doing this outside in the elements. There's a lot of things that can and will go wrong, but we have a crew that can execute around issues. Right. And I think I said when we were leaving the Airbnb the other day, I was like, listen, I got to thank all of you guys. You were great. And you did not do I did not hear a lot of complaining above the appropriate amount of complaining because they were kind of out in the middle of a field in the cold or the hot. You know what I mean? So it was just like, yeah, you're allowed to. He's like, hey, I'm freezing out here. Can you send relief? Like, yeah, like that kind of thing. That's why we booked an extra person so people didn't have to literally sit there the entire day and get a breather and get out the elements for a little bit. I kept losing intern John. And I'm like, oh, John, what's your 20? I'm in the car. 2 hours later, what's your 20? I'm in the car. Like when it was their cycle. I just things like that would happen. I'm like because it was parked around the corner from the tent, so I didn't have eyes on it. So one time I walked up the car and I think scared both of us because I didn't realize. So, but it was a lot of fun. Again, tremendous crew. Had a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward. A lot of the crew is going to come back, but we have a lot of turnover in the crew just because schedules. It's hard to say, hey, take half of your week, in the middle of a work week in order to do something like this. But I think we got a good crew, and we're going to execute even better this next time. We have some ideas. Like I said, I'm going to have calls this week about what do we do next, you know what I mean, and what can we make better and smoother for. We have a month runway on the next one, so I'm appreciating that. It's bumped up against other events, but we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. It'll be just fine. You know what I mean? So, hey, what's up? Steve from San Diego is hanging out in the chat room if he's still out there. It was a little bit ago he commented, so I want to make sure I got that out there. And I want to say hello out there to our friends in the Patreon world. We didn't do those side streams or anything tonight. Just we're still putting things together from the podcast. You're bumping your mic over there. I'm hearing you, unless I got a ghost in here.
All right. No, that was me. Sorry.
All right. But anyways, he's so excited. He's so excited. But thank you, everybody, to support the show. Our friends at the executive producer level, Brian Crawford of the New Pittsburgh Exhibition, Coffee Club level over is Cynthia Klosky of Shift Collaborative, John DeGore, and Dave Ponder. Do you look glitchy? Oh, you're looking like my wireless cam the other day. Hey, let's kick over to, because you want to know what's going on in the news of the games, of the game news. So let's see what Chachi's got for us this week.
Hey kids, welcome back to the Chachi Says Video Game Minute. Here's as much news as I can fit in under a minute. Tekken director Katsuhiro Harada is trying to add a Waffle House stage to the game. This has been a year-long process, beginning with him being confused as to why the American fans want this. He wants fans to know that he has reached out to the chain owners and is still waiting for a response. Get your donut fix and celebrate the 45th anniversary of Pac-Man at Krispy Kreme with 3 themed donuts: the Strawberry Power Berry, the Team Ghost, and the Pac-Man Party Donuts. These are available for a limited time, with Krispy Kreme not saying how limited, so hurry. And finally, the battle between Epic Games and Apple continues as of Friday. Apple has once again blocked Fortnite from being available in its App Store due to the ongoing legal battles between the two. Epic filed for a block to stop Apple from doing this, as they feel it's retaliation for the lawsuits from Epic. But as of Sunday, the block remains in place. Thanks for watching this week's Chachi Says Video Game Minute. We'll see you next time.
There you go. Thanks, Chachi, for that video game moment. And I believe, and again, to reiterate or update, Dave, you had a thing in here. Fortnite is officially back on the App Store as of an hour before showtime, right?
Yep. Just not too long before showtime, because Apple's was told you need to have this app in there. Mm-hmm. And Apple's like, well, we have this going on and we have this, but we're not going to. And the judge said, put it in there or else. Mm-hmm. I will have to have the person who makes that makes a decision personally in my courtroom. Mm-hmm. And then when the judge actually pushed back, they said, okay, it's approved now. Mm-hmm. So you can go to the Apple, the App Store for Apple, look up Fortnite and download it now for your iOS device.
I'm attempting to, but I'm not finding it. I just did a search for it. I'm getting the dilly for Fortnite. I would say this in the show notes. I put the link directly. Yeah, to the App Store.
I
have it loaded over there, but I'm not finding it actually in a search in the app. Which, if it's that new, they may not have populated it in the search. They're usually really cruddy about that, honestly. Unfortunately. So I'm going to copy and paste this in and see what happens. Oh, there it is, and it is downloading. All right, I'm going to get back into Fortnite, apparently. There you go, and that is downloading now. It's half a gig. I know that's not going to be all of it. So we're going to see. Hopefully we don't knock our bandwidth downloading Fortnite. So no, we should be good. I should really upgrade to that gigabit internet at this point. What am I doing? I should just spring for it, man. I mean, what am I waiting for? Anyways, Where are we at with things? Where are we at? Google did things.
Yep. Google did all the AI at I/O because
Yeah.
it seems like everything they announced at I/O was AI related, except for I think there was one thing that was not 100% AI related. Let me see if I can find that here. The fact that Google Chrome will detect if your password's been compromised, and it will automatically update it on supported websites.
Okay.
That's later this year. But everything else has a heavy AI component to it. So, which, this is the big hot thing, and some of the things look very good. One thing I don't like is they're going to have the AI mode. So you'll be able to in the app and on Android devices, it'll default to have that AI mode.
Yeah.
I'm
that's there, man. Come. One thing I was listening to from This Week in Tech, and they're like, one guy was going. It's one of the big time like journalists there. It was like, it is wild to me that companies are pinning all of their hopes on AI, but they literally don't understand why it works.
Yeah,
like they can't.
It's literally a black box. We put stuff in this end, we get stuff out. Why does it work?
We don't know how the sausage is made. Kind of situation, right? So, oh god, it's downloading 13 gigabytes on this Fortnite install, by the way, after I opened it. Oh no, I do not want notifications. Oh
sure
boy,
you do.
We're just gonna let that sit there while we're on the good internet here. So I actually have the same internet at home, but it's on Eros, and my walls suck. So you don't have good internet depending on which room you are in, and I don't always like sitting in the room with the modem. So there's that deal. That's why I edit the show here at the studio instead of at home like I used to. Anyways, so
now I will say this: a lot of the updates for let me see if I can get the term here, the assistant. So where you allow the phone's camera to see objects around you that they have set up, that will be available on the Google app on iOS also.
Okay.
So it isn't sheerly Android-based people.
It makes sense.
Can do that. Yeah. Which, again, it makes sense, but it's also a reason saying, well, right now, a lot of the Android phones, a lot of iPhones are kind of, you look at them, you're like, they're pretty close these days, and that's why one of the reasons I think Apple's saying face messages, we're not putting on Android because you need to buy our iPhone to get that, which works in the US but nowhere else. So at one point, it's like Google saying, well, we want people to use our service, and we want everyone to use our services in here. The search, okay, there it is, called Search Live here. But at one point, do you have the Android people saying, yeah, we want people to buy the devices. But there is an AI Ultra subscription level, which is $250 a month.
Woof! Jeez.
So now that is, and I think you'll agree with me. That's when your company can write off the subscription in a project.
Absolutely, which means you have a very pointed reason to have this too. I would hope. I would hope, unless you're just one of those like the CEO says AI everything, therefore we are AIing everything, which unfortunately happens a lot. So when it comes to these trendy kind of things. So I'm very interested, like, I don't know why, if all these are very surreal, apparently on purpose. I was very interested in the Flow AI video editing app that they're doing. So it is with the VO, and VO3 is one of their things. Flow.google is the site. I wonder if is this open? Is this open to use right now? Yeah,
okay, let me try and see here.
So
it's an AI. Yeah, it's AI filmmaking. You can do 8 seconds, but you can scene builder tool, so you can stitch stuff together to get longer images.
Right. So, I mean, and obviously it's showing kind of very surreal options when it comes to this, right? So you go in, create a video that says da 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 da. You put some images back to the 1970s taxi with something southern print cloth and with jellyfish underwear. Is that what underwater? Okay, so yeah, you put jellyfish in the back of a okay, just a bunch of stuff happening in the back of a taxi from the 1970s. Okay, that's wild. Sure,
that's kind of weird too.
She's a lava lamp, apparently.
Yes.
So, very fast. So you can create the scenes and kind of go through it. So, that's very interesting to me. But it's a different kind of. God, it's a different kind of storytelling, and I'm curious about the tools and stuff. But okay, they got a Discord on this. Create with Flow.
Now I did look on it here. Flow is available if you subscribe to the Pro or Ultra plans.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If you get the Pro, it's 100 generations per month.
Mm-hmm.
And Ultra, it says it gives you the highest usage limit and early access with native auto generation.
So this is the
So it's purely if you're it's definitely you have to pay for it.
Is that the $250 level?
No, they have one at the normal $20 a month level. But you're limited on how many you can do.
Okay.
And the models aren't as good. So that's how they're trying to differentiate the different levels they have going on. And the free one, of course, you don't get access to it at all.
Okay. Well, I'm doing a podcast in the back of a 1970s taxi, and we'll see what happens. And we'll see how quick this is versus what happens in Sora. I've been trying to use Sora a little bit more too. So I created I don't know if you saw it, the R-Truth barista. I tried to make move a little bit in Sora, so that was kind of fun. And we're throwing images in there of there was a rainbow when we were coming back the one evening. We had such a nature positive experience. It was wild. So out in the middle of Michigan, I guess is what they mean by pure Michigan. But anyways, so we had a lot of fun with that. There's already a response apparently. Okay. Oh, well, let's see. It's one of those kind of like Sora where they're going to do two different ones. So I just said podcast and the thing. It's like two guys in a multi-seat taxi apparently having conversations here.
Okay, so the taxi is a band taxi.
Yeah, apparently that one is. Apparently that one is. So I just said 1970s taxi, and it kind of created it from there. So I mean that's fine for a nice quick kind of thing. I was like, hey, we found people that actually look real. The fingers look about right.
Which I hate to say it.
That guy's got a wedding ring.
That's scary. Wait,
does everybody have a wedding ring? Everybody's married. I can't see this other guy's hand though.
No.
Well, I think it might be. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, another thing to play with. We'll see how that goes. Google. The other thing I'm excited about from what I'm seeing here, at least I'm very first glance when it comes to I/O today, but they did announce some new smart glasses, AR smart glasses. Hello, Google Glass. Here we are. So, I mean, this is what I want to go to. I mean, I'm telling you, I was waiting. Like Google's the one that I believed would do it again, right? Yeah. But again, it's also got the Google. All the others of the Google problems are going to happen probably. So I presume this is a prototype version of what it's going to be like, where she's using these VR glasses in the meantime to do the AR kind of thing. So they haven't actually implemented it, presumably. Oh no, I'm beyond my reading limit. I need to go. No, I got to subscribe to The Verge. We have to open I just should open it in Apple News, where I actually pay for it. So, but anyways, no, I'm excited at that prospect of it. I want these specs on my face
Well, that's the second one.
Yeah.
The Android XR glasses. They're prototype, but they look just like glasses.
Okay.
And I think I heard they're working with Warby Parker.
Okay.
For the design of the frame, so they're going to have that geek look to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be those heavy frames. It's going to be, but they don't look bad.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
And it says you can see the one person on the one thing. If you're angled so you can see right here on your glass where the screen is.
Sure, but I mean, you can also do that. Like I got transitions. Transitions?
Right.
Not transitions. What do you call it? What do you got the up and down reading?
Oh, bifocal.
They're expensive. They're expensive is all I know.
That's what I have. Yeah.
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 And then
Yeah.
when I get tired, I don't know which one to look through and get dizzy. So that's a fun thing that I get right, because you don't you're not centered in as much and you're kind of wavy, and then you end up looking through this part where there's not actually anything happening and it's just a piece of glass here on the edges because it's it was all about your viewing area apparently.
Yeah.
Which has been really confounding for me sometimes. I'm like, why is that? Oh, there it is. Kind of thing. It's a fascinating change. Don't be afraid of them. Other than the cost sucks when you get these. But anyways, yeah.
I'll say this: I need them.
Sure.
Progressive lenses.
Progressive. Thank you.
Progressive.
Is that chat room? Is that chat room helping us out? No.
No, that was just something that I just remembered.
There you go. Good. Speaking of chat room, because my mom's usually in there. I'll check on her. I don't see her in the chat room tonight. My mom did. I don't know if you had an opportunity. I talked with my mom on the last episode. We had to do a kind of a fill-in episode on a Sunday before I left to do all this crazy stuff. And but no, we had a great conversation. And we talked about her kind of getting in the drafting and how she had to overcome because she was kind of in the stupid class, as she put it, back in the late '60s, and they were told you can't go into drafting because you're a girl. That kind of crap happened to her, and just really extra proud of my mom there. I actually had to respond from my friend. Actually, I think this one's going to be I think who's going to be hosting the stream in next month for Formula. Our friend David out there at SAE. As a former technology, engineering, and design teacher, I cannot imagine saying this to any student, regardless of gender. So glad she decided to break some barriers. So there you go. And if you didn't check out that episode, it's a lot of, you can see a little bit of the DNA of why I'm doing what I'm doing, through that conversation there. So we had a lot of fun there. So go check that out. That's last week's episode. That'll be 7:32. It's a little shorter, I believe. And we had a little conversation about that and our day out at Kennywood that we had for Mother's Day, and learning about ADA access at Kennywood, including the fun little elevator that gets you up to the next level and goes to what it states. So anyways, thank you so much for that, everybody tuning in. Dave Potter, thank you for hanging out with me today.
I'm glad to be here, so we're always glad.
I don't know if we have any content for Patreon, so sorry for the dearth in that. Again, this is the busy season. It's kind of hard for us to do regular shows for a couple months here. We're going to have at least 2 weeks where we cannot do live shows in June that I'm going to have to figure out. But we'll continue to try to have some content for you here as we go. So thank you, everybody that is kind of rolling with the punches with us here, and we're going to do our best to kind of deliver these shows as we can here through the hard times of the year. Let's say that. But it's a good time.
Hard times, baby. Hard
times, baby. Wrong podcast. But thank you, everybody that is joining us here. And supporting us on all the podcasts and everything. So even if I did not do, I just realized that LinkedIn fell out of connection tonight. Thank you for the warning, LinkedIn. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dave Bonner. iPhoneography podcast. Go check it out, or watch it in your dreams, as I may have as well.
and listen to us talk about bright skies.
Bright skies, indeed. Indeed. Sorry, I'm logging into my LinkedIn now. And of course, I'm at Sorgatron, so you can see all the fun stuff. I haven't done the post, but we're definitely doing stories throughout the week. And I'm sharing, of course, again, I think we were able to deliver a pretty good experience for our work crew for the week. And I was glad to be able to share that with that crew. And it was a lot of fun getting a lot of video geeks in the room at the same time, from 3 different states. So that all do wrestling in some form. Very, very fun to do that. And I'm hoping some cool collabs coming out of something like this, you know? So looking forward to all of that. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who's been following the show and everything. We'll see you guys next time. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron.